Well, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, here we are the sixth group going to explain you about problem solution essay. But before we give you a method or techniques how to write the problem and solution essay, you have to know and understand and analyze what is that problem and solution essay. Problem solution essay is an essay that unveils a certain problem and offers different ways of solving it. It means that this kind of essay will focus on conflicts or problems and the way to solve or overcome the problems exist in the topic. Here, there are some standards for writing a successful problem solution essay. The first is clearly state a problem and explain its importance. It means that in finding the topic, you have to understand clearly about the problem or the case or the conflicts you are going to write and explain its importance. And you have to know the importance, what things is important from the topic you're gonna write. Second, state the cause and effects of the problem. This point is related to the first point, where the more you give, the more causes and effects of the problems you give, it gonna make your problems is more clear. Next is over one or more solution and explains how to make them happen. When you have already find the problems or the conflicts of your topics you're gonna write in an essay, you have to analyze, you have to imagine, you have to own solutions. What should you do to overcome the problem or the conflicts happen? Next is tries to make the reader believe that your solution is the best. It means that it's kinds of evaluating of your solution that you gotta give. Solution you have to make solution at least two or more solutions. And here in evaluating the solutions, it becomes the point where you have to see is your solution really relevant and if your solution can overcome the conflicts happens. And last is give the reader a final thought, revert to the problems or the solution briefly.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, I am Ahmad Lafimron and I'd like to explain you about the organization of the problem and solution essay. Alright, this is the organization pattern diagram of the essay. There are 5 parts there. The first is introductory paragraph. As we know that every essay has opening part, as usual called introductory paragraph. So this is the part or place for the writer to identify and illustrate the problem and also propose the solution that will be or that's gonna be the thesis of the essay, of this essay. And then first group of the body paragraph. So here the writer should analyze the nature and extent of the problem into some paragraphs. So it can be 2 or more paragraphs. After that, transitional body paragraph. So the transition is provided between the problem and the solution or before the solution. And the next is final group of body paragraphs. So here the writer gives explanation about the proposed solution and also its response to the problem. Okay, and the last one is concluding paragraphs. So in concluding paragraph, the writer should return the main idea of the introductory paragraphs. Alright, that was the framework of the essay or this essay. I will explain more about this or those 5 parts in the next slides. Introductory paragraph. In this part or paragraph, there are some points that the writer should know and do. They are naming the problem and telling why it is important or the importance of the problem. And then don't forget to tell the extent of the spirit of the problem and also its effect to the people or institution if possible. Okay, and the last is proposing the solution. It will be the thesis of this essay. And next, body paragraph. There are 3 parts there. The first is explaining the problem. There are 2 things that I pointed here. First is the writer should support his analysis of the nature and extent of the problem with statistics, quotes, and other data. And also, don't forget to try to anticipate the reader's objection by acknowledging and responding to them. The next is making a transition. The writer should provide a smooth transition between the problem and the solution or before the solution. The transition goes beyond a single word or phrase such as word therefore or word as a result. Okay, and then explaining the solution. After providing the transition, the writer should explain his proposed solution before that will or might work to the problem, and try to contrast it to another solution or less effective solution than the writer's solution. Don't forget to support it by some examples, facts, features, and etc. And next, the last concluding paragraph. Beside the writer return the main idea of the introductory paragraph that I have told you before, the writer should add a call to action to the readers by asking the readers to become the part of the solution, or at least they allow the actions to carry out. I mean allow others to carry out.
Baik teman-teman, melanjutkan presentasi pertama, kedua, di sini yang ketiga pembahasan kita tentang grammar. Di dalam pembahasan ini, sebelum masuk kepada pembahasan ini, saya akan menjelaskan tentang adverb dulu. Apa sih yang itu adverb? Nah, seperti apa itu adverb? Baru kita akan beralih kepada poin pembahasan kita. Adverb di sini sendiri adalah kata keterangan. Nah, adverb di sini dia bisa menjadi bisa saja satu kata atau bisa dari beberapa kata yang kemudian kalimat di situ juga bisa menjadi adverb, sebuah kata keterangan. Nah, forming adverbial phrase pembahasan kita adalah forming adverbial phrase. Not all adverb are single word. Jadi kita ketahui tidak semua kata keterangan itu memiliki satu kata saja atau hanya bersifat satu kata. Begitu. Ada memang beberapa kata di situ yaitu memang kedudukannya sudah sebagai kata keterangan adverb, tapi selebih daripada itu, entire clause or the whole overall clauses can be function as adverb. Jadi kita ketahui beberapa kata yang kemudian di situ menjadi clause juga bisa berfungsi sebagai adverb, kata-keterangan ya. Nah, berlanjut daripada itu, saya akan menjelaskan mengulang dulu terkait materi yang sudah kita pelajari di sebelumnya, itu tentang dependent clause dan juga independent clause. Ya. Mungkin teman-teman sudah tahu, an independent clause can be a sentence by itself. Kita tahu independent clause itu bisa menjadi lengkap atau sudah menjadi sebuah kalimat yang kalimat yang sudah berdiri dengan sendiri, ya memang maksudnya sudah kalimat itu sudah tidak butuh kepada kalimat lain. Sedangkan dependent clause cannot stand alone as a sentence. Kalau misalkan dependent clause dia tidak bisa berdiri sendiri, maksudnya kalimat itu belum menjadi kalimat yang sempurna atau yang utuh. Nah, instead it must be attached to an independent clause. Maka daripada itu sebagai gantinya dia harus tertempel atau butuh kepada independent clause sebagai kalimat yang sempurna. Seperti itu kira-kira ya. Nah, pembahasan kita sekarang, kita akan lebih detailnya belajar tentang adverbial phrase dependent clause atau adverbial dependent clause, forming adverbial phrase. Nah, di sini ada dua tipe ya, adverbial dependent clause. Pembahasan kita tidak membahas tentang adverbial independent clause. Yang ada di dalam pembahasan kita adalah adverbial dependent clause. Nah, di sini ada dua klasifikasi. Yang pertama adalah adverbial dependent clause indicate time relationship. Yang kedua adalah adverbial dependent clause establish reason. Jadi yang pertama di sini menjelaskan tentang sebuah keterangan yang memiliki sebuah kaitan dengan waktu, seperti itu. Contoh di situ sudah kita lihat bersama, before the problem becomes too large. Jadi hal ini menjelaskan tentang sebuah kaitan yang berhubungan dengan sesuatu itu. Nah, yang kedua, adverbial dependent clause establish reason. Nah, yang kedua di sini yaitu dia memberikan sebuah alasan, begitu. Keterangannya memberikan sebuah alasan. Kenapa ya? Karena because Balis lacks self confidence, bla bla bla, seperti itu. Jadi keterangan ini memiliki dua tipe seperti itu. Ada yang berkaitan dengan waktu dan juga ada yang berkaitan dengan alasan. Itu forming adverbial phrase. Nah, kita berlanjut kepada flyer yang kedua, slide yang kedua di sini tentang eliminating dangling modifiers. Baik teman-teman, dangling modifier di sini adalah modifier yang berupa kata atau phrase yang ditempatkan pada suatu kalimat namun tidak menerangkan suatu bagian yang muncul setelahnya. Maksudnya, dangling modifier di sini merupakan salah satu dari masalah penempatan ya, seperti misplace seperti itu. Nah, bagaimana? A dangling modifier doesn't attach itself to anything in the sentence. Jadi, dangling modifier di sini dia tidak tertempel pada suatu kalimat ya. Maksudnya dia most of dangling modifier begin a sentence. Jadi biasanya dangling modifier di sini dia memulai sebuah kalimat di situ. When spotting a dangling modifier, jika seandainya terjadi kesalahan di sini, kesalahan ataupun penempatan yang kurang benar, apa yang harus kita lakukan? We can eliminate the problem in one of two ways over here. Jadi kita bisa melakukan omitting ya, eliminating the problem dengan cara we pick one of two ways over here. Jadi kita bisa melakukan dua pilihan di sini untuk kita ambil sebagai pembenaran daripada kalimat yang kemudian tidak sesuai di situ. Bagaimana? Yang pertama di sini, name the actor as the subject of the sentence. Yang kedua, name the actor in the modifier. Terserah nanti mau memberikan nama pada sebuah subjek ada di kalimat atau memberikan nama aktor pada modifier yang ada di situ. Begitu. Contoh ya. Example, after spotting a bully in the playground, he must be prevented from continuing. Nah, ini jadi tidak ada nama di sini ya. Kita tidak ada nama. Jadi kita bisa memberikan nama kepada he di sini sebagai pengganti mungkin daripada bully atau kemungkinan menjadi subjek daripada kalimat ini. Siapa dia? Nah, baru kita lihat di bawahnya pembenarannya. After spotting a bully in the playground, someone must prevent him from continuing. Jadi di sini ada subjek yang kemudian menjadi modifier ya, dangling modifier di sini. Ya begitu kurang lebih penjelasan kita pertemuan kali ini ya. Jadi dalam pembahasan ini kita memiliki pembahasan yang sebelumnya pernah kita pelajari, cuman lebih diingat lagi ya, supaya menjadi bahan kepada kita, ilmu kita tetap bisa kita aplikasikan seperti itu ya. Mudah-mudahan bermanfaat. Terima kasih.
Here I will explain you about the preparation for writing. After knowing the definition, the organization, and the grammar of problem and solution essay, now you will know it is preparation for writing the essay. So there are two main points there. The first is researching and the topic in multiple sources, and the second is synthesizing material from sources. For the first point, you should research the topic you want to make in some many sources. You can look for in books or even internet. Then start to list any word or phrases that relate to the topic. After that, you can select one of them that can produce specific result or topic. For example, is motorcycle or campus. And the second point is synthesizing material from some sources. There are two main ways to synthesize the material. The first is indicating that the second sources agrees with the first and perhaps expand on it in some way. It should make sense. Yes, and indicate that the two sources disagree with or without your judging which one is right. The next is step in writing and problem and solution essay. First, explore your topic, audience, and purpose. So, do a research and it is support like fact, statistic, and others, and also decide whether person or people who is most concerned about the problem. Second, pre-write the get ideas. Explore your ideas by free writing and brainstorming. And the third, organize your ideas. So it includes some important points such as preliminary thesis statement that line up your paper. Introduce the problem and its support, introducing the solution, and also a call for action. For the fourth, write the first draft. So here, try to make your first writing. The fifth, revise the draft. Check your writing that have already made. You can exchange with your partner and ask to give feedback to each other. Discuss it and revise them. The sixth, edit and proofread. Check the grammar, mechanism, and sentence structure of your writing. The last, write a new draft after you make revision before you can write your new draft or writing. That's all from me and Group 6. The last we say thank you.